Hello, Kevin. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, I'll do a quick intro for your stream. My name is Kevin Yanis. I'm a senior design lead here at Bungie. I am the lead of the runner team on Marathon. The runner team is responsible for all the sweet runners you saw, core player movement, controls, backpacks, implants, cores, and faction upgrades. Prior to this, I was the combat design lead on Destiny 2.
Okay, just great intro, perfect. That was my first question. When did you start work on Destiny 2, just for my knowledge?
Oh gosh, I was actually around for Destiny 1. I was on the team my first day was the day of the E3 reveal for Destiny 1.
Oh, sick. What was your role back then?
I started out, I've worn a lot of hats here. I started out as a production engineer, moved into multiplayer design where I did that for the majority of my time, and then moved to like a activities design role for a couple of years until I finally moved to combat. And on combat, I did stuff that that you may love or hate, like Stasis, Strand, the 3.0s, the 30th anniversary update. And then I was there at the very beginning of Final Shape on those three light supers.
Yeah, I mean, you basically made a ton of stuff in Destiny that's incredible, and many people absolutely love. Even like Twilight Garrison.
Countdown, Survival, Inferno, Doubles, a bunch of modes. Rift.
Hell yeah. Okay, Marathon. What we're here to discuss. You are the runner team lead, so I'm going to try to keep my questions like runner specific. I'm sure I'll probably run out of questions, so we could go to other stuff. But like, I wanted to handle this conversation as like, I like talking to people if they're an expert in a thing. Like, I want to talk about that thing and not go off on other things, because like I know you're super passionate and really knowledgeable about like this hyper specific topic of runners in Marathon. So I guess, can you define what a runner is and help kind of paint a picture for people who are coming from other games? And we hear of like, it's a hero-based shooter. Well, it's not really that. It's not. It's kind of like classes in Destiny. Well, it's not really that. So how are Marathon runners different from other classes or heroes in other games?
Totally. So a runner is a collection of 2 abilities and 2 passives and a bunch of base stats that define a gameplay identity, and they are characters with their own backstories in this world and their own personalities. But unlike other games, we don't change your vitality or your move speeds or your silhouette in a way that like you're not going to be this big hulking tank compared to this like swirly like movement character. You're all pretty close together, and that's intentional so that everyone kind of has specializations in a role or a gameplay fantasy, but not necessarily defines the only thing they're capable of doing. An extraction shooter lives or dies by what you can take out, what you can customize.
Right.
And so to that vein, like every runner, even though they have base abilities and base passives and stats, those can be augmented. You can add more passives via the cores. You can add and change your stat packages with the implant slots. You are able to use any weapon in the sandbox and customize that weapon as you see fit, the way you want to. And then, of course, we have the backpacks. And you'd think, well, backpacks just like what I put stuff in. But there's different types of backpacks that actually give you different gameplay benefits. And that might reinforce how you want to play as well.
Like, so you're saying there's backpacks that give you abilities, or just passively make you play
backpacks that auto-reload your guns, that let you use items faster. Some backpacks let you go invisible.
Okay, so I thought those types of things would be limited to like the cores or implants. Okay. So no subclass selections. It's limited to, you said, a couple of abilities, and like there's no armor in the game. So do the runners have passive stats that differ without taking into consideration cores or implants, like base stats?
Yep.
So like,
correct. Yeah, they have different base stats that reinforce their mechanical identity and role.
Like things like more base shields, sprint for longer, more stamina, or like
more stamina, but no, we're not changing vitality across them. Like vitality is earned through playing, through different shield implants that have different behaviors. So like I said, we don't want to do the classic hero/class thing where it's like, I'm playing heavy, therefore I must have more HP. We're not doing that. That comes from the customization and build crafting part of the game. But they do have base stats, things like your heat capacity, which is how much heat you can burn before overheating, your core agility, which is like it augments your jump height and strafe movement speeds, your loot speed, how fast you search through containers.
Oh, okay.
Ability regen rates, your self-repair speed, in which like your self-repair says how long it takes for self-repair to kick in and bring back health. And in this game, like, to be clear, that's pretty lengthy, right? We're talking about the orders of multiple minutes.
Yeah, because
you really want to use consumables.
I didn't even know your shield came back. I thought it was you always had to use the recharge.
If you play passively for a good amount of time, your shield will recharge. But it's not something that, like, it's not other tactical or arena shooter games that, like, I took cover for 30 seconds, I'm back to full health. We're not doing that.
Gotcha. You got to have the consumable ready if you want to win that fight and get your shields back. Your passive
Correct.
is not going to be enough for that.
Cool. Correct.
Okay. All right. A little more of a dev question. I was a programmer for 11 years, and I know that when I built a thing, I can always recall, like, my favorite stuff to work on. So what has been your favorite thing to work on in Marathon's development? Like the memory that you'll carry on so far with how you've impacted the game.
Oh boy.
Try to find one.
Yeah, for sure there's a lot. We've done a lot on this team. I said this before and I'm gonna say it again because it holds true. But the moment when you're designing something, especially early on in a new IP, you don't have a foundation of atoms to build from, or like VFX or animations or anything to build from. So You're looking at the very rough version of it. And so for us, we had this very clear vision in our heads of what cyborg fantasy felt like, what these runners felt like. And when we finally got Blackbird's like prime working with like the head splitting elements where you see the flaps in the screen, the UI getting online, that felt like you were, had this internal operating system. Same with Locust, when that whole HUD thing comes online, like that's when we realized, like, oh, the bets that we made, the vision we had was there, and it's about polishing it and reinforcing it and spreading that out. So for me, that was probably one of the more favorite things I've worked on, or got a chance to be a part of working on, because it felt like that whatever year plus of iteration had paid off, and we'd finally, like, we saw the thing happen on the
coming to life.
Yeah,
your baby's
and then
being
when
born.
You see your coworkers say, like, hey, I haven't used this runner in a long time, and like, holy crap, what an upgrade. Like, that feels good too.
Hell yeah. So have you been promoted so much you don't get to do like the nitty gritty coding, updating stuff now? Or are you like, where are you at in your daily life of
it
dev?
Depends. So I'm pretty high up there now, where I am a team lead, and I do spend a lot of my time working on organizational or logistic problems.
For sure.
But I have gotten down and dirty in this game. I've definitely made a bunch of stuff. I prototyped a bunch of the initial runners alongside Luke Kopech before we were joined by great team members from Destiny, like Mike Humboldt, Sam Dunn, Todd McCracken. And then I've been knee deep in script, putting together a lot of the logic for some cool stuff you'll see, the exfils. I'm definitely in the engine still, making stuff. Not as much as the rest of the team, though. Those guys are incredible at what they do.
They're putting you in too many meetings.
It's okay. It's okay. I tank the meetings so that we can all have the same shared vision and same direction, and so that these guys can kill it and execute it and make really cool stuff. Then I can point at the screen and say, man, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so Alpha has 4 runners. Glitch, Blackbird, Locust, Void. Void is the stealth. Glitch is the agility disruptor. Blackbird is recon, figuring out where players are at. Locust was they said soldier kit. W key aggressive, got the shield.
Yeah.
So over
generating
time,
and taking presence.
Gotcha. And there's 2, I guess, I think they're unannounced runners. But I guess over time with Marathon's life, is the plan to give the existing? I mean, obviously, part of the plan is to bring on more runners over time through additional seasons. But will these existing runners? Do you foresee them changing a lot as they exist now, like being given more abilities over time, or is the focus going to be more on bringing more into more runners into the game? So keeping the runners that are there relatively the same and just adding more, or something different?
So we're definitely going to add more as we develop the game and as we go season over season. But I think the thing that's really interesting is that gold cores are all runner specific. So they belong to a specific runner. They only work on a specific runner, and they augment a runner's abilities. So that is the vector in which throughout the the years of Marathon that we can inject more exciting new stuff to existing kits. It's really important for us that we don't necessarily change the base kits up, because we want you to be able to identify a runner based on their silhouette, their behaviors, know what they're capable of, and then strategize around that, right? And so making sure we never break that fundamental readability is really important to us. But of course, we don't want them to sit and gather cobwebs either. So there's definitely a vector for us to do that.
So with a stealth, an agility, a recon, a soldier, what, and I again, if you don't feel like answering, if you can't answer, that's fine. But I'm curious, what roles do you think need to be filled in an extraction shooter that are important that aren't there now?
I can't talk about too much because obviously that would give away what we're planning, but I can say one thing, which is one we've already talked about, which is a character you're not seeing in alpha, but we have revealed before, and you can probably
We lost you. Uh-oh. Redacted.
we're here. Sorry about that. Hi, hello.
Hello.
What did you hear last?
The last thing I heard was I can talk about one thing.
Oh, that's hilarious. Just leave it there. No. Talk about one thing. We've talked about this one already, and you can infer a lot about their kit from their code name. It's not their actual name, but their code name, which is Thief.
Thief will be stealing stuff sneakily
in cool ways. I didn't say sneakily.
Oh, true. I did. Bungie can ban me. Okay, so what is your favorite runner to play in the alpha, and why?
I'm gonna start with, this is not an implication of power bar or
for sure
of use, or I just gotta get that out there. Play what you love, play what you
Absolutely.
like, play what you identify with. I play a whole lot of Void. I like the ability to surprise people. I like the ability to subvert expectations, especially to break away when the going gets tough. I've also played a considerable, it's more of a recent development, frankly, but I've been playing a lot more Blackbird. That tracker drone is delightful. Locking down enemies and forcing them to fight me is like kind of a powerful fantasy, especially when paired with Echo Pulse. Knowing where encounter is going to be, kind of predicting it, laying my tracker drone as a potential trap as it crawls at them and to detonate. That's been pretty fun. I mean, I like them all. That's like the cop-out answer. They all have things that I find delightful. Thruster with Locust is one of my favorite feeling things in the video game. Using Amplify on Glitch. And booking it to my teammate who may have pushed a little too early. I know who you are. There are moments that I love with each and every one of them. But if you're asking me what I mean, it's between Stealth and Blackbird.
Void and Blackbird. Okay. You mentioned Blackbird.
Oh, sorry, Void and Blackbird. Yes.
You mentioned Blackbird could help make the enemy team focus on you. And in what way is that?
Well, it's not necessarily that they focus on me, but the tracker drone, once it finds a target, will dart at them, jump up, and detonate, and that detonation overheats them. So that maxes out all of their heat, and they're taking tick damage, so they can't leave. Like, I've effectively forced them to have the fight or to bunker, but there's no disengaging happening for them for a
Gotcha.
short duration, unless they have come prepared, right, with mechanics kits to remove that debuff, and then they can go ahead and do what they want to do.
So I've played. I can say that I've played Marathon. I have the worst memory known to man, and I can never remember the specific names of stuff, which I honestly helps my NDA because I just can't remember stuff. Um, in terms of development, what of the 4 alpha runners was or like has been the most difficult to nail down, like to get feeling right?
We spent a lot of time actually on Void. Invis is a tricky subject.
Yeah.
In a game like this, it is hard to balance. I am certain we're going to get a lot of feedback on that.
Too
runner
invisible.
for sure. And we've made adjustments from every build. Like, is it too invisible? Is the flicker duration long enough? Is the total duration long enough? When should we reveal you?
Oh yeah, all that.
Because like unlike other things, other games, right? When you have this invisibility on you, you fire your weapon, you use consumables, you perform certain actions. You're gonna reveal yourself for like a second, and then you go back into it. It doesn't like interrupt it or remove it completely from you.
Okay.
And so, and we don't do the thing that we did on Destiny. We're not breaking aim assists or anything like that on you. Like, this is not a win button in your engagement. So someone can totally knock you out of that invis just by targeting you and finding you. And we've done things like cranking up the activation audio. So when somebody uses it nearby, you're like, someone's invisible on me, be on high alert. Maybe deploy your Echo Pulse to find out where they are. Maybe lay some claymores in case somebody wants to get tricky. Brian Austin, who's the brand manager, he knows several times I've caught him just because he activated the camo and I heard it. So we're it's like plate spinning in a lot of ways. We want to have that fantasy of going invisible. We want to make it strong and make it feel powerful. But we also know it has to be fair for the victims, and so finding the right balance there has been pretty hard. And then also, we're trying to make a lot of the abilities more utility centric. That isn't to say we don't index and damage. We have damaging abilities, but we never want them to be like nukes. We never want it to feel like an encounter was decided because you deployed your prime or because you deployed your tactical ability. They should always tip things in your direction, but require you to execute further. And so, like, Void has a lot of abilities centric around smoke, and that was pretty tough to get right as well. Like, how do you make smoke super useful? What are the different things you can do with it? It's
Right.
not just vision obscuring. Like, actually, if you're in the smoke, it breaks all sort of like aim assist and tracking. Like, it is a different spectrum. Can your teammates see better in smoke versus enemies? Is that interesting? So yeah, we spent a lot of time actually on Void figuring that runner out.
I guess switching gears to, I still want to stay on runner stuff. You also mentioned as the runner team lead, you handle the implants, the core drops. Is that all equipment that is under your kind of umbrella?
Yeah, implants, cores, and the faction upgrades and backpacks.
Okay, I guess I don't know anything about faction upgrades at all. So give me like just the overview of that.
So each faction has an upgrade, like you would compare to like a faction or an upgrade tree. Those require you to rank up on the faction, but also have materials to unlock nodes, and those will give you benefits for the duration of the season. Those reset on the seasonal wipe. And also, like across season wipes, we'll be mixing those up and introducing new things. So there are other things to chase.
So sort of like, but not really like the seasonal artifact in Destiny, but kind of that idea of something changing that affects the combat, the metas per season that changes.
It's not even just combat, right? So we have stuff that affects the black market in there, or like you can upgrade your
Okay.
sponsored kits. It gives you access to backpacks, shields, increases your vault space, right? There are other meta game upgrades in there. So we
Cool.
have stuff like plus 15 heat capacity, totally. We also have stuff like deploys a smoke field when you light your exfil off, so you can be a little more safe.
Oh, nice.
But then on the other spectrum of that, we have unlocks purchasing backpacks, or increases your vault space, or improves your sponsored kit. And all of those are progressed by engaging with factions, doing contracts for them, completing their storylines, or just the other contracts you have that are more like smaller objective based, but things that give you context on what you're doing in the run. And then from there, you're creating other sub objectives of like, oh man, I really want to unlock the sponsored kit, sponsorship plus. And so I know I need Sparkleaf, and I know that Sparkleaf tends to spawn in these POIs, and so that's going to take you on different routes each and every time you play the game based on what objective you're chasing.
So you can load in, be looking for something to hunt, know that that's like getting progress on a larger reward track that you'll then be able to hopefully extract with, upgrade that stuff, make your character better for that season, be more powerful, be able to go back in, get more stuff. That's that extraction shooter loop.
Yep, and it's it's worth noting those upgrades, you don't lose those when you die, right? Those are persistent, so you can raise the power floor of your guy over the course of the season. I can guarantee you that right away, like you're gonna find the microprocessor hunt is going to be on. People are going to want that first vault upgrade. You're going to see a lot of that going on.
So with shields and implants, they affect just your runner, or can they also enhance your weapons that you have equipped?
I would say not necessarily shields. Shields have different benefits, like resistances tied to them, but those resistances come at a cost of stat. So you might have, like a kinetic resistant shield, which reduces ballistic damage from UESE, which is awesome, but it comes with a minus 15 heat capacity. And so you kind of have to weigh, do I want that plus 25 HP and that damage reduction, or would I rather have the heat capacity? And there's like different forms that shields can come in, right? We have the reinforced type of shields, which are they effectively have your damage. And the reason that's interesting is that your 25 HP white shields with a reinforcement shield becomes effectively 50 HP. But when you use a shield charge, that means you only have to use one to get that full effective 50 HP. It's very economically sound. We have two versions of that. We have the green one, which is the 25 to 50 jump, and then we have a gold one, which is a 50 to 100 jump. And that means two shield charges is a full heal for you with gold shields. We actually did see a pair of those go around the creator event that traded hands, and there was pretty there was some salt thrown about that, so it was pretty cool.
Because they're able to extract it and use it on the next playtest.
As for implants, we do have implants like Hot Swap, which will increase your weapon handling and your ADS speeds for weapons. And conversely, we also have implants that might have other stat boosts, but then come with a penalty to that weapon handling. So you have to make these like kiss curse trades of what you want to reinforce, what you're okay trading for that.
Gotcha. And that is losable. You die it. If you die with that, quick draw type, I think it's an implant, you drop it, it's on your body, whoever killed you takes it, and now you don't have that specific one anymore.
Correct. You can upgrade your black market so that you can start to be able to purchase things of higher tiers. So the idea is like you are also increasing your restart point, right? As you invest in these faction upgrades. So like, did I lose a blue implant? Well, thankfully I've unlocked purchasing blue implants from the black market. And so now I have at least a good starting line. It might cost me a lot of credits and materials, right? But as you amass that wealth, you'll be able to rely on that more and more.
Yeah, because kind of the thing that sometimes turns me away from extraction shooters is it's feeling like, oh, I've got to start all over. My vault's empty. I got to go. But already today I've heard that there's these like the factions will give you sponsored kits that you can buy right away. You've just mentioned that the black market has these abilities to unlock higher level stuff that lets you get back into the game without being.
Yeah, sponsored kits are sweet, man, because they start you off with stuff. I know I've had a session saved from a crash out because of the sponsored kits, because what would end in like utter defeat and like salt. I would queue back in, because at this point I'm like, I'm not leveraging anything. It's all mine to win. And I ended up ending the night with some blues and some purples, and I felt really good about it. I actually typed something up to the progression team, because I'm like, holy shit, like this was a game changer. I would have been sending you an angry message right now if not for these. And they brought me to victory. And I only recently discovered when playing that there's an upgrade that allows you to upgrade the contents of your sponsored kit with cores and implants, which is super sweet.
Oh, instead of just like some weapons or
just weapons,
a shield,
medical ammo, yeah.
Oh yeah, like consumables.
I'm getting the one more question signal.
Oh crap! Yes. Oh, it's already 4:50. Oh my god, the time so fast. Man, put me on the edge. I let's just end it there, because I
have a question for you.
Shoot.
When do I get a new Gamer Tips video? When are you gonna try to blame the birds on Dire Marsh?
Did you watch that when it first came out?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
That's how I know you.
That is a Halo 3 reference. Man, I have kids now, so I don't have time to do all that super creative stuff anymore. I just try to stream every day and stay alive. I would love to make one though. But thank you, Kevin. Thanks for the interview. Congratulations on my first ever dev interview I've ever had in my entire life. So you were great.
Woo! I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you for that video back in the day, and thank you for the time.
And thanks for all your work on Marathon. Can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for everyone to play it. You have yourself a great day.
You too. See you.
Bye.
Oh my god, I'm kind of like, he watched that video? That's his first impression of me? Oh no.